friends, I am so glad you are here to join me in the third book in this series. I hope you have caught the first two books in the series, which is Home, Home is Where the Heart Is, and now we have Home Sweet Home, Jefferson Ranch, Book 3 by Cassandra P. Lewis. Okay, great. Let's start. I am so excited to talk to you about this book, you guys. I have just loved this series so much. I could not wait once I finished Home and then Home is Where the Heart Is to know that book 3 was going to be about Jimmy Ray. Oh my God, I was so excited. I am in love with this world that Cassie has created and these characters. I had high hopes for JR and she blew me away. So just keep in mind, on my channel, I do have 2 other videos on this series, Home and Home is Where the Heart Is. And if you haven't read these books, just know that going in, I never want to give direct spoilers. I of course do talk about the books in detail. That's what I do here, but I never want to give you a direct spoiler. So keep that in mind. Okay. Oh, you guys, I loved this book. We of course met Jimmy Ray, JR, in the previous 2 books. He is Daisy's younger brother. We know him well from the previous 2 books. We also know there's a lot more to JR's story. That being said, I really liked how Cassie wrote these 3 books to be in tandem and parallel, not completely the whole way through, but you see those times where they intersect, and then you get those situations from each of the different characters' perspectives. The characters she's given us so far, which have been Maggie and Rusty, Daisy and Jason, and now we have JR. So we knew there was a lot going on with Jimmy Ray, and there was some heavy shit that he went through. Let's just be real. And I was so, like, I wanted the best for him. Okay, I'm sorry if you can hear my family. Almost everyone's home today, and they just finished a movie, so they're talking about it in the other room. So if you hear a little noise in the background, that's what it is. So I just was nervous for him. I felt really deeply for him. I wanted the best for him. And I was so hopeful as to who Cassie was going to bring into his life. And she just blew me away with this book. She has now, I can say 100% for sure, without question, written my favorite book ever. And that being said, I have read another book of hers and I freaking loved it. I have that video filmed, and then I need to bring it to you guys. I just need to find time to edit it. It's about Rafe, which is from the Made For You trilogy. I, of course, did videos on those 3 books earlier in the year. Rafe is Rosie's brother. So knowing that I read that, I knew she writes a good story. But this one just, I'm a mess. I absolutely loved it. Home Sweet Home starts with Jimmy Ray and Daisy getting the letter from their dad. And we're getting it now from JR's perspective. We know that their dad has been MIA for several years, and their mom is gone. Their mom has passed away. And if you've read the books, you know about all of that and how tragic all of that is and how much it affected their lives. I mean, that's putting it mildly. This video would be 2 hours long if I talked about all of that. So definitely go check those videos out. It will give you all the backstory. And JR has decided to take his dad's offer, which is to come up and visit him in Canada. Jefferson Ranch is the ranch that Jason's family, JR's brother-in-law, Daisy's husband, owns. It's his family's ranch. They are cowboys. And so JR's been working there, and their dad, Ray, is up in Canada on a ranch, and he invites them to come visit. And he offers, when they get up there, he offers JR a job and says, we've got a place for you that only you can fill. And I'd love for you to be here and work with me, alongside of me, and be here. And JR's like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And he does it. That relationship had me really nervous, because although we see that Ray is turned his life around, JR is in a very tough spot in his life. He's known that he's gay, but being from the town that they're from in Alabama, that's just not accepted. And he tried to live his life as a straight man, getting lost in women and alcohol, and being so upset about the way he is. It is a coming out and kind of coming of age in a way story. I know how hard and how thoughtful Cassie took, how hard she worked to make sure that this book was authentic from being a straight female. That's the perspective she's writing from, but she's writing a gay male character. And I know she was really careful with that. And in my opinion, she did a fantastic job. I know she did the research. She really did dive into this coming out story and acceptance of yourself. She really did do it justice. And I have to applaud her for that, because it's really beautiful. In all honesty, I've been yearning to read an MM book like this. I have read same-sex books before. There were parts that I loved about them, but I could never get there fully with them. And I don't know if that's the author's writing, the way their characters were, how the story was. And don't get me wrong, love is love. It's just, that's the way it is. That's how I believe. I believe that we fall in love with who we're meant to fall in love with. I have no hang-ups about all of that. But that being said, I never fully connected to a same-sex book until I read What is Love, which is her other MM book. And then also this book, and it's about her writing. I fell in love with the character she wrote. This is Jimmy Ray talking about their hometown and how he never felt like he fit in. And he's talking about how Daisy belongs there, but he doesn't. A place where she fits in like a brick in a wall. She's part of the town and everyone there knows it, but it's not that for me. For me, it's a place where I never felt free, a place I hid and cried and hurt, a place I felt neglected by the people who were supposed to love me the most, where I felt jealous of the sister who gave me everything because she had been lucky enough to meet great friends. It's a place I treasured those who looked out for me but felt like I was a burden to all of them. Somewhere I pretended to be someone else just to try and fit in. A place I felt afraid of who I actually am. And that's what brings JR to the decision to try something new. In the town that he grew up in and lived his first 24 years, is he 24, I think, when the book takes place? He's that guy. But when he goes to Canada, he can live about who he's supposed to be. And that's a real serious distinction. There's a freedom he feels when he goes to Canada that he's never felt in his life. We get so much about what he went through before, but then now we get it from his actual perspective, and it added so much to his story for me, and it made me love him even more. So he moves to the ranch, and he immediately meets Louisa. She is the friggin' humor in this book. I freaking loved her. She was hysterical. I need more of her. Crossing my fingers about that. She works on the ranch with him. They strike up an immediate friendship. And then he ends up going into town one day because the coffee at the ranch sucks and he needs better coffee. And his dad tells him about a coffee shop, and he walks into, what's it called? Oh, the grounds? Wait, Anyway, it doesn't matter. He walks in the coffee shop and he looks up and it was like, ah, and he locks eyes with Landon. Oh my God, Landon. I love Landon. Landon was absolute perfection. I was a smitten kitten right along with JR. I love how Cassie wrote him. He's honest, he's vulnerable, he's a deep thinker, he wears his heart on his sleeve, he's got an alpha side to him that I freaking loved. And so adorable. And exactly, if I had to pick somebody for JR, it would be him. He is an out gay man. He's been through a lot in his own right. He has now found a home here in this town. He owns his own business, the coffee shop. He's just good where he is. He's got it. He's got his life. He's got his friends. He's good. He's where JR wants to be. Landon's already there. I loved how Cassie developed their relationship. And I literally have like 1,000 highlights about this book. So I have to be very careful that this video is not an hour long with as much as I want to talk about. This is from JR's perspective, and he's talking about him and Landon are out exploring the ranch. And oh my God, it was just gorgeous. There's something about the sound of the water that makes my heart beat faster. It demands respect. Everything about this place does. There are dangers and risks contained within the beauty that keep me on my toes and make my blood pump in a way that gives me a thrill. Like I am addicted to life and the feeling of being truly alive for the first time. I didn't want to live. For so long, I floated day to day for Daisy's sake, for Wyatt's. All I wanted was for it to be over. 9 months ago, Landon helped my dad write to me, neither of them knowing that it was a lifeline, and I grabbed it. Now I can breathe, and it feels like it's the first time I've truly been able to. I inhale, filling my lungs with clean air that I'm thankful for. I have everything I could wish for right now. I live in this amazing place, doing a job I love. I have a best friend for the first time in my life, and a group of friends to go with her. I have a guy, a beautiful, fun, caring, sexy guy, and he's mine, just mine, and everyone knows it. And I have my dad. I never, not even one day, imagined that I would ever have the relationship with him that I do. But I can honestly say that I love him so much. I'm so grateful for that letter. It changed everything. Ooh, makes me all teary. I felt the place where JR was in his life at that moment, because you know it's been hairy and you feel for him so much. And we're reading him get to know Landon and Lou and their friends, and knowing that him and Landon like each other and the bond that they're developing and what they're going through, finding their way as friends and as a couple. It was just, that was a really special moment for me in the book. Their relationship is not without drama, because either way you cut it, this is the full complete relationship, the first full complete relationship that JR's ever had. He's had an A experience before, it didn't last. So he's new to all of it. Being with a man and accepting his own sexuality is completely new to him. It's not to Landon. And Landon's a couple of years older, I should mention as well. He grew up in the States, then moved to London. He's got baggage too. He's got trauma as well in his life. He's an old soul. He's lived more than JR has. It's plain and simple. I needed JR to have a happily ever after, and I wanted it to be with Landon. And there were times in this book I was not sure that was going to happen. This is from JR's perspective. They're having a conversation, and Landon's talking about taking him to London. Landon from London. And he's talking about them going there. Maybe I won't take you there, actually. You might realize there are so many more options out there for you now, and I'm just your starter lay. I look down at him, surprised at his words and unsure if he means them or is playing around. I wouldn't do that. Landon releases me and sits up to look down at me. Well, this is all still new to you, and you're only 24. Do you really want to settle for the first guy you sleep with? Landon, I'm here with you and the happiest I've ever been, so don't say shit like that. I'm just trying to protect myself. From me? My voice pitches. I'm stunned. I thought we were good. I really care about you, JR, and if you change your mind about me now, it's going to effing hurt. I just think if you're curious about other guys, maybe now is the time to try that. Explore before we get too serious. I am serious. I'm falling in love with you, he exhales sharply, whereas I can't seem to get a breath. I'm falling hard and deep, and I'm terrified you're going to decide you need to play the field a bit before settling down, because the thought of losing you crushes me. Just the idea of you in London, seeing how many hot available men there are in a city like that, turned my stomach. I loved how authentic that all felt, because Jimmy Ray is at the beginning of his relationship experiences. Landon's had relationships. He's ready to kind of like settle down. He's like, oh my God, this is my guy. And as much as JR is like, holy crap, I didn't expect to meet the one right away, that does a number on him a bit. I was rooting for them so freaking hard, but I was not sure if it was going to work out. Like every couple, they have to figure their crap out. And Cassie takes us through that. Their insecurities, they had to learn how to communicate, how to blend their lives. Oh my God. They go through it. The stomach drops I had were just, like, oh my God. I got mad at Jimmy Ray in places. I got upset with Landon. He got knocked off the pedestal once or twice. There's something that JR mentions Landon having, and I'm totally stealing it. This is one of those little extra touches that Cassie has in her writing that just takes it to the next level for me. He talks about pulling up something like a playlist that Landon has on his phone, and it's the Us playlist. Landon named it Us, and it's like their favorite music. Oh, how cute is that? I'm totally stealing that. I'm absolutely making a playlist for me and my husband on our Spotify. I can't help it. It's freaking adorable. At one point, they go away for the weekend together. And you guys know how I usually freaking love when the characters all go to a bar together and there's dancing and they're drinking and they're having a good time, because you know shit's gonna go down, right? Oh, I was not happy with this. This is the first time ever in a book where I was like, oh, no. I don't want to read this. No. It was not a good time. Not at all. I was devastated. I was so freaking sad. And I just wanted to like close the book, throw my Kindle and be like, no, you didn't. No, I was not happy. It freaking killed me. The whole thing was just not a good scene. I was not here for it. I was not a happy camper at all. But we get through it. And then this is from JR's perspective. Love hurts. There are enough songs saying it that I should have realized, but I had no idea euphoria could turn to misery on the flip of a coin. And then a little bit later, a year ago, I never thought I'd know real love. Now I never wish I had. Oh, the downs in this book just killed me because I just wanted JR happy. And I didn't know. I really didn't know. Thank goodness we do get a happily ever after at the end of this book. But oh my gosh, you guys, the tears I shed in this book, in this series, I cannot recommend this series enough. And I'm so excited that she's not done. Cassie has more books coming and I cannot wait. I know who the next book is about, but I don't know if that's public knowledge. So I'm not going to share who it is, but I'm so, so excited. And yet at the same time, already dreading whenever the last book is going to be. And I don't know who that's going to be. I'm already dreading it because I don't want to leave it. It's been an amazing, amazing series so far. Let me know if you have read any of these 3 books in the Jefferson Ranch series. You know I always love to hear. And if you haven't, what are you waiting for? Oh my gosh, jump on it. Highly recommend. While you're here, thank you so much for subscribing and giving the video a thumbs up. When you do those things, it not only helps my channel, but it will help this video get shown to more people here on YouTube, which is great for my channel and awesome for Cassie's books. Don't forget to come over and say hello to me on my social media, which is Cat Reads Romance on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I'll see you very soon.